Hello, welcome back to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Robin Decker. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merkso, Mike Merkel.
I'm here.
Missing in action once again, whale shirt himself, Kyle Budzanowski.
We didn't change his nickname.
We didn't change his nickname. No, it's always been whale shirt. Do not go back and look at our archives, and do not go back and watch all those great YouTube episodes. Don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do it. Mike, we got a lot to go over today. We've got, obviously, the trade, the Quandre Diggs trade by the Lions. Some people are upset about it. I'm not as upset. Maybe that makes me a bad fan, especially after reading the kind of the rationale behind the trade. I think that people maybe can be talked off the ledge a little bit. We're going to talk the NBA season's finally here. We're going to talk, our expectations for the Pistons, who our early favorites are to win the championship. We're going to talk Isaiah Todd, the premier five-star power forward, committing to the University of Michigan, Juwan Howards' first big fish land. He's a potential one-and-done guy that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk Michigan's ginormous win over Notre Dame yesterday and how dominant they looked. I can't believe I said that out loud. And we're going to check in on the AEW NXT Wars era. We're officially a month in, Mike, so let's go back and kind of check and see where we're at, how we're feeling about both shows, and, as we kind of go forward here into the upcoming new year. Lots of stuff to go over. Let's just go right into it. The Lions trade away Quandre Diggs to the Seattle Seahawks for a fifth-round pick in 2020. Let's just kind of get some of the misconceptions out of the way right now. No, the Lions could not have gotten more for Quandre Diggs. I see that all the time where they just go, well, if they were going to trade him, they at least should have gotten like a third. Okay, just because your evaluation of the importance of a player is a third-round pick does not mean every other team in the league's evaluation of a player is a third-round pick. I think people sometimes don't get that. It's just like the Lions just call people like, what will you give us? And they're like, we'll give you a fifth-round pick and a ham sandwich. That sounds like really good. I like ham sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like that's really, you know what I mean? Like I think people don't understand that you can't just go, hey, I want a first-round pick, and they're gonna go, no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good talk. Like,
it's called negotiating.
Yeah, right. Like, let's put it in perspective here. His contract balloons up to $7 million a year, and he's being phased out of the defense. You don't have a ton of legs to stand on. Okay, that's the first thing. Just your thoughts on the impact of the trade, if any, really, on the defensive side. I mean, the defense is atrocious, so I don't think it's really going to do anything.
No, I mean, I don't think he was that much of an impact player, and if anything, he's been hurt the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
So,
right.
What do you? I'd rather have the third-round pick that we got play some snaps if.
Right.
You're going to have that and free up that space for an extra guy that you need rather than have him there hurt the whole time.
Right, and you make a great point, right? Will Harris, a third-round pick out of Boston College. I know that people were kind of surprised, but if you look at Bob Quinn's track record, even at the safety position, Tracy Walker, third-round pick. Everyone's like, who the hell's Tracy Walker? Oh, he's just our best safety. You know what I mean? And what did they do that for? To phase out Glover. He was getting a little bit older, losing a step. Even though they did an extension, they rewarded him for playing well. Hey, thanks for your service, but we got to let you go. And because we have this guy ready to go. Will Harris and even Tavon Wilson, who's a little bit up there in age, but he fits that scheme a little bit better, have both played better in limited snaps compared to Quandre this season. Yeah. I know people don't like to hear that, but that is the rationale. And I don't always back every Lions trade. Sometimes, I remember one year, I think Mayhew traded Mike Thomas from Jacksonville Jaguars. They traded a second-round pick for him. I almost lost my mind. But the point being is that in this situation, I think they've insulated themselves where they like their depth, right? They like Will Harris back there. He plays that Patrick Chung type of position for the Lions that you would see in New England. They like bigger defensive backs. Yeah. Every defensive back they drafted is a bigger guy. Warrior, bigger dude. Coleman, bigger guy. Slade, bigger guy. These guys are all bigger people. Even Rashawn Melvin has some good height to him. I think he's over 6 feet tall.
He's 6'2".
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, exactly. So they don't roll with that low. And with Coleman playing as well as he has, the versatility that Diggs afforded you originally is kind of wasted because he's not playing in the slot. Yeah. He's got the most missed tackles in the league right now. And if you're being replaced at the safety spot, where are you going to be? You know what I mean?
I can also see, because the argument of, you could have gotten more. I think that for this specific scenario, I think maybe you could have at least tried to get more. Yeah. Only because when you look at Seattle, that defense, I think their weakness is the safety spot.
Absolutely.
And you could have exploited that being, listen, if you really want the safety, a third or fourth maybe is what it's going to take to get
doubt, absolutely.
Because you look at their D-line, you got like Ziggy, who's actually healthy and playing well. Jadeveon Clowney's there. Their linebackers are some of the best in the league right now with Bobby Wagner.
That defense is low-key very underrated.
It's very underrated, and that one position that you're really missing is that safety position. Right. And if you got that upgrade in the position, you might become even the elite.
And maybe that was the upsell. Maybe they started at they're like, we'll give you a 6. You need
at least a 5.
Right, exactly.
And we don't know for sure, but I think like for the people wanting to argue that point.
I can totally see that. Specifically the team itself. I know that they got some calls about him, you know, and they kind of made some calls. And we've also got some reports, too, that they are looking to be buyers in this upcoming trade deadline, the Lions are, specifically the running back position, because Kerryon's going to be out pretty much the rest of the year, which is unfortunate. Big shout out to Eric Baldwin, who called that, my buddy at work. He was like, we can't have nice things, so he's clearly not going to make the whole year. But, yes, I mean, team captain, fan favorite, 6th-round pick out of Texas. I mean, he played his butt off, clearly, for this team, you know, and we thank him for the service, you know, but I think people need to kind of temper expectations when they trade away a guy, and you got to go, okay, well, man, he was really awesome. Okay, just because he was a starter doesn't mean that he was necessarily playing at what they want to do. They have to plan for the future, and especially because you've got guys like Jesse James, Trey Flowers. Some of these contracts are kind of backloaded. Diggs' contract extension that he signed balloons up to like I think $2 million and then $7 million in 2021. So that's $7 million off your books 2 years from now. That's probably going to go to those guys and other potential free agents later on down the road. So you guys got to kind of think about the long-term planning here. You're 2-3-1, okay? Clearly Super Bowl aspirations kind of out the window. So you need to start planning already to kind of, you know, get ready to go for upcoming seasons, because that's what good franchises do. You have to be able to not kick the can down the road like they did with Sue and the Fairley situation and Calvin and all that other stuff where you can't afford anybody and the people that you do have aren't playing well for you. So you guys got to kind of think long-term planning a little bit. Sucks to see him go. He's going to a better football team, so maybe he wins a championship out of it. Who the hell knows? You know, Russell Wilson's playing out of his mind right now. So, Let's talk Michigan Notre Dame for the first half of the show here. 45-14, dominant performance by the Wolverines. First top 10 victory for Harbaugh. Period. I wish Kyle was here. I know he was stoked. We were watching it together, the three of us. Just your overall impressions on the Wolverines. I mean, it's a huge win. Don't get me wrong. I feel like this win would be even bigger if they hadn't just lost to Penn State and Wisconsin. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but they moved to 6-2. You know, they're going to move obviously up probably top 15 if I had to guess, just based off of the performance.
Well, they'll probably be around the 12 area. Yeah. Because everyone else who lost this weekend also.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's a good call.
Like Auburn lost and
a couple people all in that same area. So. Exactly. So, I mean, thoughts on Michigan, you know, really with the dominant performance. That's the first time I think we've been able to say that all year, where they played a quality opponent, where they basically, from the start of the game to the end of the game, there was no relenting. Especially the weather, I get that, but like from the onset of the game, it was just Michigan all the way through.
Yeah. Well, they had a lead for 60 minutes of the game, so
that's crazy.
Or at least like 55 because they won 3-0. Yeah, it was very dominant. Defense actually looked very well. Yeah. Only averaging 1.8 yards per play up to about midway through the third quarter.
Right.
So that's amazing on this on a top 10 team. That's
right. Yeah, this team is pretty much complete from last year's Final Four run for the most part, quarterback and all. Yeah. So it's not like this is a different Notre Dame team than we saw last year.
Their offense looked very well, even though they just ran the ball a whole lot. Yeah. It was basically, this game came down to who can run the ball better. Yeah. And obviously you just saw Michigan's O-line just said, we're going to run the ball more on you.
And that's a change. That's a change
that has never happened this year, even in great conditions. We can't run the ball. So that was amazing to see. And Shea Patterson, the few throws that he did throw, they did look very well. So overall, great
I thought it was a great performance. Really, I think you're building up. If there is a shining light in this season, I mean, you're 6-2. You've lost 2 Big Ten games already, so Big Ten championship probably ain't going to be a thing. But if you can build up some momentum going into the Ohio State game, right? I mean, do they play Michigan State next week? Is that next week?
No, they play them in like 3 weeks.
Oh, really? I always forget how late it is this
well,
year.
they play Maryland, a bye week, and then Michigan State.
Oh, okay, all right.
So,
I forgot it was way later in the schedule this year. But okay, but either way, you're going to probably go beat Maryland. You got to bye. I would assume you beat Michigan State. But you're really building up some momentum, hopefully kind of starting to find the stride a little bit to prepare for that Ohio State game, and I think that if they can go out and really play well the rest of the season, I think that the fire Harbaugh thing will kind of die down a little bit. I think people will kind of see, okay, maybe we can kind of start doing this with or without Shea Patterson, because that's regardless of the point. But let's talk a little bit too about the rest of what happened in the Big Ten. Well, Ohio State, a huge victory over Wisconsin. I mean, what a dominant performance there. Is there anybody that's beating Ohio State this year before the Final Four? Before the Final Four?
I would say no. I would like to see when Penn State plays them. I think they play them at home, so I don't think they go to Ohio State win. I think they went to Penn State, they would win, but they play at Ohio State, so they probably don't win. That's a tough place to play.
The shoe was tough.
So unless Michigan pull it out at home, that's the only team that I see that can beat them. It's probably the best Ohio State team we've seen in the past 10 years.
Yeah, I liken this team to the Troy Smith team when they beat Michigan, when they were the number 1 team all year, the Jim Tressel team with Ted Ginn and all that stuff. I mean, that was a dominant group. I think they had A.J. Hawk on the defense at that point. I mean, you had 2 top 10 picks from that draft. And they didn't even win the national championship because they lost Urban Meyer. But point being, though, that was a really, really, really good football team. This team looks legit. It really does. I was really hoping that Wisconsin was going to be able to run the ball down their throat. They could not. No. Not even in the slightest. I think what we saw more than anything was Wisconsin got exposed a little bit more than anybody else because they went, quarterback can't do nothing. Make quarterback make plays. It ain't happening. So, this Big Ten season's kind of shaking out weird because Ohio State, theoretically, without the exception of Penn State's really got an easy road up until Michigan because you're just like, I don't see a team on their schedule that's going to be able to pull that upset the way they're playing right now. Like this Wisconsin game for me was a benchmark to say, okay, if they beat Wisconsin by 3 scores, then you're like, okay, then I'll say they're legit because they haven't played anybody until that. Not only did they beat that by 3 scores, they dominated that football game from like the end of the second quarter all the way through. Wisconsin had no business being in that football game. Yeah. No business.
Very unfortunate because that's our one glimmer of hope
right.
It was maybe something in the Big Ten.
Yeah, exactly. It's like maybe they can lose, then we can win out and we beat them, then maybe
you can
get
make the argument.
Big Ten championship.
Now your only hope is maybe Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State can win. Yeah, right. They only need one loss because if Michigan can somehow make a deal with the devil and get a victory against Ohio State, then you're kind of in that conversation. Then you can be in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, if Penn State loses too also. But
exactly.
That's unlikely. So Michigan's basically out of it. Ohio State's dominating it. It's actually a lot of fun to watch. I like dominance, so. Yeah,
I mean it's fun because if you're not a Michigan State fan and you just love college football, where you look at this Final Four shaping up now, right, with the uncertainty at Bama a little bit, with the quarterback situation, even though they're steamrolling everybody, Trevor Lawrence is still at Clemson, and Trevor Lawrence has not had the season everybody thought he would, right? He's leading the ACC in interceptions right now, even though they're undefeated. Oklahoma just lost.
Yeah. Do you think the Clemson thing comes off of you're having a rough time, a freshman quarterback winning national championship, knowing he has to stay 2 more years?
I think he's kind of like this is like I've done this already.
Yeah, he's like checked out because he's like, why am I still here? Like I just won the national championship last year, and now I have to be here 2 more years.
Yeah, and
it's one of those I wish. Right. If you I feel like they should make a caveat where if you're the freshman quarterback, you win the national championship and you're ready. I feel like then you should be able to leave because now you're just like, I already accomplished the goal that I wanted to come here to do.
I can't get
any higher than this.
Yeah.
So now he's just going through the motions, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's tough because a lot of people, I think the expectations too are that immediately like a quadrillion times higher,
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Like if they don't even win the national championship last year, it's like, okay, fresh quarterback, he struggled a little bit. He's still got 2 more years to grow, and he grows into the thing. But because you won it, and the way they won it, right? I mean, he was very well insulated. Don't get me, that Clemson team was stacked, but he played very well when he needed to. So now you're kind of like saying, okay, you're the guy. Here you go. Here's the keys. Chuck it down the field a million times, and you're not seeing. I mean, they're still undefeated. They're still a very good football team, but he hasn't been, I quote unquote, as dominant as people would like him to be. And I think a little bit, he's like, what do you want me to do? I just won a national championship. I just beat Alabama straight up. Like I just went and destroyed them.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to do? Well,
when you look at his stats last year were about the same too. It's not like he's like, oh, this year he's taking a big dive. Like his regular season, he's just like going through the motions.
Yeah.
It really comes down to if they make the Final Four, and I'm going to say if because this committee could be crazy a little bit.
Yeah,
if they make the Final Four, that's when you got to go, okay, now is he going to step up what he did last year, or are they going to take the step back? And if they lose it this year, I think that would put the chip on the shoulder to go win it the next year, and then he can leave.
Right. Yeah, I think. Well, it's tough because, like you said, right? Like I can't get. It's like the Cardell Jones situation. He comes in for like 3 games in the biggest of games, right? Wins the national championship, and I was like, you should probably go leave for the draft. He's like, no, I want to go play, and he's like, I was like, no, you should probably go leave because your stock will never be higher than right now.
That's what I mean. Like Trevor Lawrence's stock was so high last year, but now 2 years are going to go by, and now it's going to be like, you didn't win a national championship since your freshman year. That's a little It looks a little bad.
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
It's almost like ruins your draft stock.
Yeah, if it can. Yeah, the NFL is weird because it's like you look at guys like even like Justin Herbert or some of those guys and you go, they haven't won anything in college, but yet they're going to be a first round pick this upcoming season. So the NFL is weird when it comes to that. It's like who was it? Even years like Ryan Tannehill and Blake Bortles and those people, you're like, oh man, this is the top prospect of the year, for quarterbacks, and you go, really?
Like Baker, Kyler.
They can, that's
the last 2 years, they both got bounced in the first round.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Of the college football playoff, and you're just like, but they're going to be the number 1 pick and not like this guy who just won the national championship. Like,
it's crazy how the NFL kind of does that. But even guys like I look at Bortles, UCF guy, and you're like, oh, this is a weak quarterback class, clearly, you know what I mean? Yeah. And yet he's a top 3 pick, and you're like, okay, sure, whatever you say. Even guys like Goff and Wentz, right? Like Goff played at Cal. Cal was awful. Cal didn't do anything special, while he was there.
Who would be your top 4 right now?
Quarterbacks?
No, like top 4 in the playoff.
Oh, top 4 in the playoff? I mean, Bama, obviously. Ohio State is probably 2 in my mind right now.
Ohio State's 2?
It's just 2.
I would maybe put them at 1. But that's...
and then I would probably say Clemson, and then, oh, jeez.
Like LSU?
Yeah, probably. LSU is probably right there, too. LSU was putting up one hell of a resume.
Do you think the loser of Alabama or LSU doesn't get in?
See, that's it. Right now, the way it stands, I think they have a chance to because because the Big Ten is beating each other up so much right now. With the exception of Ohio State, there's not another team that justifies that spot.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in the ACC that justifies that spot. Washington's already, I think, has 1 or 2 losses. It's got 2 losses, so they're out of the picture. Notre Dame, the one albatross of a program that could somehow get in there anyway, they now have 2 losses and just got destroyed by Michigan. So there is no way they should ever even sniff contention now.
Yeah.
Georgia is the only team that I think has a chance.
Do you think Oregon and Oklahoma have a chance still?
Oklahoma, I think, does if they win out and dominate throughout. I don't think Oregon does, though.
Okay.
I don't. And the only reason why I say Oklahoma, because, once again, it's not about necessarily who they beat. It's about, it's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, and that's not a great answer, clearly, but I think that you got Jalen Hurts, you got Lincoln Riley, that offense is so explosive, even though the defense is literally a leaky faucet. I think that they get, and because they're an iconic program, I think they get a nod over an Oregon.
Yeah.
Because I think Oregon had to be perfect throughout the entire year to have a chance to be in the conversation to be there. Because I think if they were undefeated and you're looking at Oklahoma with 1 or 2 losses or whatever, or they win the Big 12 but they still have that loss to, who did they just lose to, Kansas State? I would take Oregon because Oregon's undefeated. They won the Pac-12 or Pac-10.
So I guess this is going to go into a long talk now. Should Oregon have scheduled Auburn to start the season then? Because that's your one loss is to a ranked top 10 Auburn team.
Right.
And since you lose, so now you kind of lose your spot where you could have played.
Yeah. Right, and that's
Texas Southern,
right.
and you come by a lot how you're undefeated.
We talked about that at the beginning of the year too. That you see teams like Alabama, you look at their schedule and you go, oh my gosh, like Minnesota, we were just talking about yesterday.
Yeah,
it's one of the most easiest. They're going to be undefeated before they play anybody. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, they haven't played any. I mean, they played like UNLV, like that doesn't even count as a school. You know what I mean? So it's tough, but at the same time, I think that their rationale was we have a good enough team, hopefully, to maybe make the Final Four. So if we can beat Auburn and then go on a tear the rest of the year, then we have that marquee outside of conference win to kind of get them there. Yeah, so I think that's where they're struggling. I think, though, that if Bama goes undefeated and then they lose to LSU or whatever, I think that there's still a good chance they make it.
Yeah, because they play them in like 2 weeks or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if LSU goes undefeated, Alabama loses to LSU, they don't even get the SEC championship game because they're on the same side.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they play playing like Georgia for the SEC championship. Yeah. Does that? And if say Georgia beats LSU, then
that's tough.
Is Alabama somehow slipping in at a? What I mean?
What's sad to me, honestly, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel like it almost hurts LSU more to not be in the SEC championship than it does Bama.
Yeah.
Because if Bama were to lose LSU, but then they win the rest of their games in dominant fashion, LSU say wins the SEC, right? LSU's in. I think if the roles are reversed and Bama beats LSU, but then LSU goes on to tear the rest of the year and they only have that one loss, I don't think LSU gets in.
Yeah,
that's how stupid is that?
That's what I mean, though.
They've had a tougher schedule. That's the part where I'm like, I almost want LSU then to get there because I want at least there to be a thought that Bama maybe doesn't get in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because that's
and they should be punished for not making the SEC championship and be like, okay, you had 7 games where you played blind kids in wheelchairs. So
that's my argument though. Is if LSU beats Alabama and then they play Georgia in the SEC championship, say even Georgia wins it, then you have Georgia with the SEC championship, LSU beat Alabama, and somehow you're gonna be like, oh well, Alabama's gonna sneak in at the 4th spot.
Yeah, that can't be a case.
Out?
Yeah, that can't be a thing. Yeah, it would almost help Bama more if LSU wins the SEC championship.
Yeah, because then Georgia gets out.
Right, exactly. But the SEC bias is so stupid.
That's the thing we look at.
Oh, absolutely, and I can't wait. When we kind of get a little bit closer, when everything kind of starts to flesh itself out a little bit, that's when this kind of talk is really going to get up in there. I wish we could be talking about Michigan having a chance at it, or even Spartans, for that matter, but Spartans haven't scored a touchdown.
Spartans are even worse.
Yeah, no kidding. Good Lord.
But we all want to fire Jim Harbaugh, but State, I guess, it's fine with 4-4.
Yeah, exactly. 21 and I think these 23 and 21 over the last 4 years Michigan State is.
They haven't scored in 9 consecutive quarters until yesterday. 9 consecutive
I think I saw
quarters.
something where it was like Michigan State before that touchdown hadn't scored since the debut of the Joker movie.
October 5th. Literally.
That's awesome. That is hilarious. All right, after the break, we're going to talk Michigan again, but we're going to talk Michigan basketball. Then we're going to talk the debuting NBA season this year. I know Mike is super pumped about that. And then we're going to do an AEW NXT Wednesday Night War check-in a month in, like we promised. All that great stuff after the break. Stick around. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 48 of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. Almost getting to that year, Mike.
I know.
Almost getting there. All right, let's talk Michigan hoops for a second here. They're going through their pregame, their preseason kind of warm ups there. And as much as we want to talk about the Spartans being the number 1 team, quote unquote, so far at the start of the season, I want to talk about Michigan, though. Juwan Howards, the new Michigan basketball coach, replacing John Belay, who left for the Cleveland Cavaliers, landed his first major acquisition since becoming Michigan's head coach. Isaiah Todd, power forward, 5-star athlete for the 2020 class. The first 5-star recruit, I think, since like 2002, since I think they started measuring this kind of stuff, for Michigan. So, some guy that I don't think Beeline would have landed, if we're just being honest. I don't think he would have even, he'd be like, hey, we'll offer, but it ain't going to be a thing. Potential one-and-done guy. I just want to talk briefly on what you think that how big of an impact, not necessarily on the Michigan basketball team next year, the year after that, whatever, but as far as the new way Michigan looks to be trying to recruit, trying to get in that game with the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Kentuckys of the world, where they're going, we're going to go right up there with you guys, and we're going to try to get a lot of these 5-star one-and-done athletes to kind of put together these super teams of guys and make runs with it. Do you think that's a smart move, or do you think you're kind of swimming in really, really deep waters?
Well, I think it's a good move if you can pull it off.
Yeah.
I've always been more of like, just get the guys that you can get and develop them. I'd rather have a guy stay for 3 years and have you coach and develop them than a one and done.
Right.
That's always been my thing. So, I mean, you're not like mad at, oh my God, they got a 5-star.
Yeah, right.
But like, it's always good to get the 5 stars. But at the same time, as long as he fits what you're trying to do and the mold that you're trying to make, then it works out. But if you're just getting the 5-star, be like, oh, we got a 5-star.
Right.
Then I'm a little
iffy. 1 5-star doesn't get you anywhere. Let's put it that way. Right. Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
What I mean? Like when Duke went, all right, we're gonna get Zion, RJ Barrett, and this guy, the top 3 guys in the class, and we got all 3 of them, but none of them fit what they were trying to do because they were trying to shoot the ball the whole time, and none of them can shoot the ball. Then that's when you're gonna see them lose in the Elite 8 to somebody.
It's so much low-key shade just being thrown there. None of them can shoot. That's awesome. Every Pelican and Nick Vanish went, stop it! He can kind of shoot sometimes.
Oh, Zion's not even playing for 8 weeks.
Oh my gosh, I know. Did you see that meme out there of him? It's like one where it's like he slowly transforms into Greg Oden.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg Oden, but you played for Ohio State. You deserve it. Yeah, no, I agree with you though. I think that this is potentially the first domino to fall, and I think that if Michigan can start becoming a team that is in those conversations and landing those top-tier talent, look out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes everyone's like, man, we don't know what Juwan Howards going to bring as a coach. I'm like, maybe it's not going to matter. Like, if you're able just to land all these guys and just go, hey, go out there and play.
Yeah. Maybe it's that thing where you can just make your regular season record look so good so you get that high seed and then you can just make far runs in the championship record like Duke does.
Yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't win anything,
but Duke does every once in a while. They will pull a national championship.
They will pull one,
they won one a couple years ago with, what's his name? Okafor. Jaleel Okafor is their starter. They beat, I think, Spartans in the Final Four that year.
Sounds right. Yeah,
I think so. But yeah, you're right. It's one of those things. I just found it very interesting that it's our first 5-star recruit in God knows how long, and 2, and 2, I think that this is, I think it's a huge move for Juwan in the start of his tenure as Michigan's head basketball coach.
Yeah. I would just really wish that we could have this Juwan Howard recruiting with Beeline's coaching ability, and we could probably win a national championship every single year.
Yeah,
with
no kidding.
There
is one flaw with Beeline. It was that we were never able to land like the super big fish.
Yeah, we just get like the system guys and be like, okay, you're gonna come in and shoot like 5 threes and make them a game, and that's it. That's all you're gonna do. The point guard, you're just gonna be athletic and just pass the ball a lot. And like he has these specific things that everyone had to do, and you did it. You're the man, and the team's really good.
Such a great coach.
He was. If Juwan Howard can be like a little bit like Beeline, this team's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
But if he like comes out and he like can't coach, but he has all these really good guys, then you're just gonna make like early exit,
Sweet 16 runs,
32.
And that's the thing too. You really want to make sure that and I think they've done a nice job of filling out the staff with former head coaches too, so they kind of help him and insulate Juwan a little bit. I don't think this specific Michigan basketball team is going to be super amazing in any regard. I think he lost a lot of talent that should have stayed. Poole, Brazdeikis, a lot of guys left that probably shouldn't have. No. But at the same time, I will say that as long as they're competitive and in the hunt there at the end for a Big Ten championship, if they're hanging in there with the Spartans especially, and Purdue and a couple of those teams, I think that you will be like, okay, and now with the recruiting and they're able, and I think they're going to land this 4-star center that's got us come out right there. I think there's a lot of guys where you go, okay, if we're in on this and he's selling this whole thing, and guys like LeBron and D Wade are supporting him, and guys from the league, because that's all these 5-star kids want, right? They want, can you get me to the league? That's all I care about. I don't care about winning at college. Who cares? Get me to the league. Let me put up big numbers and get me to the NBA. And if you can do that, you're going to land a lot of these guys. Straight up. That's what Calipari's done. Kentucky ain't won nothing for years. But
all their guys
every year. It's Kentucky, Duke, Carolina, Duke, every once in a while a random guy. You know what I mean? It's just what it is.
One Virginia guy.
Right, yeah, exactly. So it's just, I just wanted to mention it because I do think it is a important first step for Michigan to land a guy like a blue chipper like this kid is really, and I think that's huge for the state, for the program, and I think it gets people talking about something positive about the program, which is always good. All right, let's jump right in to the NBA though. The NBA season officially opened last week. Clippers and Lakers went at it. Clippers got the W by 10, I believe, over the Lakers. Sorry, Mike. Pistons opened up, got a big win over the Indiana Pacers, minus Victor Oladipo, taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
And proceeded to drop the next two to Atlanta and Philadelphia as we stand today.
Correct.
Right? They lost yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Let's just start, though, just talking Pistons first, just for a second here. What is your ceiling for this basketball team? You know, I mean, they cut ISO Joe. Couldn't believe it. I mean, oh my God.
He was an MVP.
I know, he was a big 3 MVP, my goodness. But Derrick Rose looks phenomenal, right, in his managed minutes. I think, Kennard, going to be a player. I think Drummond's playing really well right now. I think they need to get Reggie healthy. Obviously, Blake is out right now. But this team collectively, with everybody healthy, I'm looking at, I think you could easily be a 4 seed in the East. I really do. I think if it all falls together, I think you could be a 4 seed.
Yeah, that's about my ceiling.
Yeah, that's if everything goes right. But I really like this team. I think it's me really just liking D Rose and Kennard. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's close to the ceiling. I would say my top 4 in the East would be somewhere in the ballpark of a Bucks, Sixers, Celtics, Pacers when Oladipo comes back.
Yeah.
And then you can throw in maybe Toronto and stuff in there. To make it real, actually, the Heat could make a little argument there.
Yeah.
Because they're really good right now, I guess. But I would say we're definitely in a playoff hunt.
Yeah.
I don't think there's 8 teams in the East that you can say, oh yeah, they're better than the Pistons. So I think we're in the playoff hunt. I would say the ceiling's about a 4. I would say realistically we're about a 6 or a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could say that. Yeah, 6. For sure.
But possibly winning the series, because if you play someone like a Boston or Indiana who could be a 3, that's a very winnable matchup.
Absolutely.
Other than the Bucks, to be honest.
For sure. So absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, I just what I like about this team is I like the depth. I really do. The first couple guys off your bench, I am really, really high on right now. Like I've already said this. I think when I said it when they first signed D Rose is going to be the starting point guard for this basketball team. And what I mean by starting point guard is in the fourth quarter, last 6 minutes, who's in the game? Derrick Rose is in the game. Derrick Rose is in the game. Blake Griffin's in the game. Kennard's in the game. Drummond's in the game. Those are your best players, right? He's never gonna go 35 minutes a game anymore. That's not what he does. But 26 minutes and putting up 20 a night from your backup point guard, sold. And what I think that does for this team too is I think it allows Reggie to do what he does best, which is help elevate guys around him with his scoring ability. He doesn't need to be the fat pass first kind of point guard that I think is needed in this offense, where if he's coming off the bench, right, and playing, splitting time with D Rose, I think that with some of the backup guys that maybe don't have as much ability on this, like Bruce Brown, right, is not a quote-unquote scoring threat, Markieff Morris is not necessarily oh my gosh, he's going to put up 25 every night. No. It's not going to happen. But if Reggie is the guy who can be that scoring threat on that team and put the rest of the rotation in a better position, I think that's going to really help them. Where if Blake goes off the court, we can't have a -7 margin. You know what I mean? That can't happen every single night. That just can't. So. And you don't know how good Blake's going to be throughout the whole year, injuries and everything else. So with that being said, I think that really helps kind of balance some of this stuff out. Especially, you got Kennard coming off the bench still. I'm like, dude, he's your best freaking shooter. Put him on the court. Let's go. I get the love for Bruce Brown, but Bruce Brown come off bench. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's really okay. Who is your favorite, though? I mean, we are so early in this season, injuries and everything else, obviously. But are the Lakers your favorite to win the championship this year? I'm saying that. I say that just because I already know the answer to this question, but I feel obligated to ask it. But are they truly the favorite this year? And if they don't win it this year, all right, they're done. They're never going to. Do you think do you think they have 1 year to get it done?
I wouldn't say necessarily it's 1 year, but this is probably your best shot at it. Yeah. Because LeBron is an aging old man right now, and he can't.
His fake hair's falling out.
Yeah, he can't go another 3 years at this pace. So I think this year is you could say the year that it has to be done.
Yeah,
I think
guys are 1-year deals right now.
I know you could possibly do it next year, but I think that how the team's set up right now, if it's not this year, it's going to be very difficult to make it happen within the next 2 years. Yeah. So, but the Lakers are my pick this year.
They are the pick this year? Okay. And the reason why I was asking is a couple reasons. One, Anthony Davis doesn't have to resign. Right, he's on an expiring contract. Right, he doesn't have to resign. You got a lot of 1-year contracts that were kind of handed out based off of the fact that who you have on this team. Right, you know, LeBron taking up a lot of cap. He's there for 4 no matter what. Right, so or I guess 3 now. But so I mean, he's there for the long haul. Clearly, he made the investment to do it. He's like, I'm probably gonna end my career here. If not, maybe make one last jump when his son gets drafted. But I think that if they don't get it done this year, I don't think they get it done.
It's going to be really hard.
Right. I really just based off of like the Nets are not going to be the Nets this year because Durant's not going to play. Right. So Kyrie by himself, okay, maybe they sneak into playoffs and then they get bounced. You got, Philly's only getting stronger still, right? I don't think Boston's a real big threat, honestly, on the whole overall scheme of it, right? Golden State's still there. They're not great. The Clippers are still going to be a monster, right? The Rockets are going to be a monster. The Bucks are there. You've got a lot of teams that are a lot younger that are just as good that you really need to this is the year where LeBron pulls the veteran presence and just goes, no, I've got this. You know what I mean? And I think
through the season you'll see spurts of it.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be
I think everyone's gonna look past them because they're not gonna have a 70-win regular season everyone's expecting.
They're gonna have they're gonna be about a 50, maybe even a high 40 season.
Yeah.
I don't see them going 55 plus. That's
Yeah.
I don't think LeBron will play that many games.
Yeah.
I think he'll play about 60 games. So I don't see these people that are they're gonna go 60 wins and easy. I'm like, hold the phone.
Yeah.
You're not in the regular season. You're not gonna go off and beat the Bucks in Milwaukee. You're not gonna beat the Clippers every single time. You're not gonna beat Houston 3 times. You're not gonna just go out and just destroy these teams over and over and over again. However, you are good enough to coast through the bad teams this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Which really benefits, because last year you go up against who they play, Utah.
Yeah.
You go against Utah and you're like, this is a fight. We're gonna drag out brawl with Utah. And when it's Utah, that means everyone else that's above them. It's very unattainable.
Yep.
This year you saw Utah was okay, so I'll go 25, you'll go 28, everyone else would shoot a little bit, and we'll win.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was. It didn't even look really competitive through the whole game.
Right.
You play teams like the Hornets later, you play...
And pretty much everybody else.
Literally anyone else.
If you're not a top 4 seed in each conference, the Lakers
are going to... Yeah, so I'm not worried about that.
Whole,
and then once you get to the playoffs, I think
that's
you
when you see
click the switch. Yeah. You got Anthony Davis there now, so now you got that big man down low that he's never really had. You can make arguments for a Chris Bosh or a Kevin Love.
Bosh was very good with the Heat. He was
Kevin Love was...
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your first, I got a big guy now.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do with it kind of thing? So I think I would say Lakers are my pick. Out of the East, I got Milwaukee.
Okay. That's an interesting matchup. It'll be fun. That'd be Giannis versus Anthony Davis would be a treat. An absolute treat. Yeah. I mean, I would have to say, I would probably agree with your assessment there. You watch way more NBA than I do. I don't really start focusing until right around the playoffs start. Outside of just watching the Pistons, just because it's just for me, it's too many games. I don't have enough skin in the game for that kind of thing. LeBron is not my favorite player, so I don't feel the need to go, I gotta watch LeBron.
Who's your favorite player right now?
My favorite player in the league right now.
That's not a Piston.
That's not a Piston.
You're gonna say Derrick Rose.
I do, dude. I'm way on the D Rose train. Way on the D Rose train. Oh, jeez, that's tough. I really like Kawhi Leonard, and you know why I like Kawhi Leonard is because
so chill.
Not only that, because he doesn't say anything.
That's what I mean.
He's just, and what it is for me, it's his defensive ability just as much as his offense. I was a big fan of him when they drafted him, when they beat the Heat the first time, and he just locked down anybody that came across him. He was complete lockdown. I can appreciate the fact, like a guy like that, where he doesn't say a lot in the media. He just wants to go out, play, and win.
Yeah.
And is a phenomenal player on both sides of the court.
Yeah.
That is a true player. LeBron will always get the headlines, right? He is the best player of our generation, and it's not even a question. But there are, for me, it's always okay, for me, that's always been okay, yeah, I get it, he's awesome.
Do you ever think that, they should raise the expectations for Kawhi at all?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got 2 championships now.
Yeah.
And you just beat the Warriors. I get it. They're beaten up. I get it. I understand that. But you just beat the Warriors. But you're in LA. No. You're expected to win a championship.
Because here's my only gripe with Kawhi is I don't like how the media treats Kawhi in an inverse effect where like he can put up 25, 4 and 4, and they're like, great game by Kawhi.
Yeah.
But if LeBron puts up that number, you're like, what?
Because the problem
and I get
LeBron is not compared to Kawhi. LeBron is compared to Jordan. That's the problem.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, Kawhi's a 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, and he puts up 25. He put up his career tied his career high in assists at 9.
Yeah.
He's never hit 10 assists ever.
Right.
His career high in points is 29.
Right.
Or 30. I'm like, that's a career high. LeBron just hit that in a random night.
Right.
In Utah.
No doubt. Yeah.
30.
No, because,
I'm just like,
I'm not going to compare Kawhi to LeBron because I don't think that they're not in even the same stratosphere. And I think that's because you are a LeBron guy, right? I don't think it's fair to compare to say that Kawhi is the best player in the world either, because I still think that on any night, LeBron is the best basketball player in the world. Not Durant, even at healthy, not Curry, not anybody else. LeBron, if I needed it out of any player in this league right now, and I need one game, it is LeBron James every play until he tells me otherwise.
Yeah.
That is 100%, and this is coming from a guy who's not a huge LeBron guy, but the respect that man deserves for what he is able to do night after night at the age that he is doing it at, ridiculous. He was getting shredded by like Stephen A. Smith and Kellerman and all these guys. Oh, LeBron was just abs. I'm like, I get it. It was only 18 points. But he's like 36. Like, he's a freak of nature that you're expecting to put up 40 points a night. It's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But when he does need to put up 40, he will put up 40. And that is the difference between him and any other player in this league.
And that is the reason why I take the Lakers, because I think if it came down to a Game 7 Clippers-Lakers, I'd take LeBron over.
I agree with you, but that's the only problem I would have with the Lakers is that I don't know if I take the rest of that team, because the Clippers are built in a different way than the Lakers are, right? So I'll say the Lakers are probably the favorite, as they should be, but the Clippers are like right there. And I mean, it is the slimmest of margins, and if there is one false step by the Lakers, I think the Clippers are going to be a more consistent playing basketball team than the Lakers. I think you're going to see massive highs and really weird lows for the Lakers this year going into the playoffs. I think the Clippers are just going to be steady for a good majority of that time, and I think that they will be the more consistent team even in the playoffs, where I think the Lakers will go from one night, it'll be like, oh man, they just barely beat the Dallas Mavericks, it was 100-94, and the next game is 150-60. It's going to be one of those kind of things. So I think you're ready for that, and I think a lot of Lakers fans are, but I think if they don't get it done this year, I don't think they get it done. So it's got to be this year for them. So it's going to be, I'm really excited. This is the first year I've looked forward to the NBA season in a really long time, because that super team Warriors is gone. Yeah. So it's kind of like, now there's a little bit more balance. Just a little bit. You know what I mean?
I actually don't think it's that far off of balance. Like, I think there's a lot of teams that can win it, but
But I think that there's a lot more competitiveness though in those teams. You know what I mean? So it's like, even though I don't think the Rockets have a shot at winning it, I think they're going to be fun to watch, and I think those series against the Lakers or the Clippers or whoever are going to be close, competitive series. Lakers all the way, Clippers all the way, but I still think that, oh man, they just won 6 games. That was a hard 6 games. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which I think is better for the NBA as a whole, which is really what we're all about. All right, let's check in. Last topic of the night. AEW, NXT, Wednesday Night Wars. We are officially a month in. AEW's won the ratings war, but let's be clear here, that really doesn't matter. We're a month in. And 2, we've seen ratings decline every single week for both shows, which is a little scary, honestly. A little bit if you're a fan of either one. I want to say this, I want to start out with this, I don't know if you necessarily agree with me or not, but I would say that as just individual shows next to each other, right? Like watching AEW, watching NXT, I think AEW blew NXT out weeks 2 and 3, but I think NXT won the quality of show week 1 and 4. Because of the just based off the creative. Like Finn Balor turning, biggest thing that happened last week, right? Like, And here's why I say that. Watching that show last week with AEW, I thought the Lucha Brothers match, phenomenal. Best match of the night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Second, I would say, is the Triple Threat North American match. But I didn't like how they basically made the second tag semifinal worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have the Inner Circle walk out during that match if that match is supposed to mean that the winner goes to the finals for the tag titles.
Yeah.
You kill their heat immediately because everyone's paying attention to Chris Jericho instead of paying attention to, SCU and the Dark Order, who you needed to get over because they've been dominant the whole time. You know what I mean? So Finn Balor turning, to me, is a flip the channel type of move there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where I think that is a more long-standing move than anything that AEW did last week. Anything that they did, like that show for me, outside of the 2 tag matches where they had where there's implications for the titles, right? Nothing else in that show mattered. Nothing happened.
I think it's gonna be very tough because I do think and we can look at the upcoming show.
Yeah, for sure.
You can go. So on NXT side, you got the Finn Balor turn, and he's probably going to talk about why he turned.
Yeah.
And then you have the crowning of the first tag champs.
Right.
Which one do you want to watch more? It's almost like which one built more intrigue.
For sure.
And
for sure.
I think it's actually going to be very split because I do think the Finn Balor turn built a lot of intrigue.
Absolutely.
But you're finding out a first ever champion.
Tag team champion. Right. No
for
doubt
a big
about
company. So it's like, I think AEW kind of went in on the easy, like on a...
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Weeks 1 and 4, because I enjoyed NXT week 1, the first show when AEW was on TV. Yeah. I enjoyed NXT shows more than I did AEW's. I watched AEW's first before I watched NXT's, right? But from just watching it, I thought that the product was better on NXT. Now, weeks 2 and 3, it wasn't even close. Like, AEW completely blew them out of the water, and it wasn't even close. But I would say that from a quality perspective, I think NXT and AEW right now, 4-4, I think are tied. In my opinion. I know people are going to doubt WWE just because AEW's new hotness, but just looking at it objectively, if you would have seen Matt Riddle and Adam Cole on AEW's show, nobody would have been watching NXT if that was on AEW's card. It wouldn't have happened. If they were never in WWE and they were just in NXT or in AEW, no one watches. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, "Oh, that was best. That was best match." If it happened in a different ring, so that's my biggest thing. Is I think some people, and we've talked about this before. I don't want people to fall into the it was AEW and I don't like WWE, so AEW is better. Okay, like what we have to do on this show is provide a fair and non-biased opinion. Like, I've watched AEW. This is the first time I have watched a wrestling show, start to finish, sat down and just watched it for a month. I haven't done that for Raw in a long time. SmackDown, same thing. You know what I mean? So this is the first time I have it's Wednesday, I'm going to watch AEW tonight. You know what I mean? Like, no doubt about it. But going back the next day and I'll watch NXT because I forgot it recorded, and I watch it all and I go, that was a pretty damn good show. You know what I mean? I don't know, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, because that was my biggest takeaway. They're winning the ratings war, for whatever that is worth. But I'm like, it's a closer war than people think it is.
I think it's closer. Yeah. I do think it's closer. Yeah. I don't know which one I like better.
I'm enjoying AEW better.
I think overall I like AEW better.
I would agree with you on that. Yeah.
They're just so different.
They are very different.
So it's almost like you get different crowds for both. I think everything goes AEW's way. You're new, you're bigger arenas. NXT's in Full Sail every week. Right. While AEW gets a new crowd every week.
Yep. It's new hotness.
It's just new hotness.
Yeah, for sure.
When I watch that, I think what AEW does very well is their first match keeps you in the whole time because it's so good. Yeah. Because you're just like, you get Lucha Bros and Private Party, and you're sitting there and you go, okay, so this is going to be the opening match. What's the main event match going to be? Because the main event match should be better. Is it? Probably not. But it should be better, but it keeps you invested the whole time. Where NXT almost goes, we're going to give you a little bit, big main event. Yeah, right. So it's it's almost like I actually, when I watch it on Wednesday nights, I actually start with AEW and end with NXT. Right. Which is really fun. I tried to watch them both in a vacuum. So I try to watch one completely uninterrupted, and then I watch the other one uninterrupted. That way I get the full value of what they're trying to the story. Yeah. From start
all the way to finish. You know what I mean? Like I did that week 1. I tried doing both, and I'm like, this is too much stuff. I'm missing too much stuff on both sides. So I gotta just watch one, and I did that week 1. Afterwards I went and rewatched AEW's first one, and I rewatched NXT's first episode on the Wednesday, and I just, like I said, the only reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I think that there's a lot of like, oh, yeah, it was just killing them and everything. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but man, it's not for lack of trying. And I think WWE's doing a lot of good things on the NXT brand right now. The only thing I would say as a caveat for NXT is that I'm really worried because you take the Undisputed Era right now away from NXT, you're screwed. Because every phenomenal match that's coming out right now has all been the Era right now. Like that triple threat match, Roderick Strong's in it. No, that's gonna be it's gonna be good. You know what I mean? Yeah. That River Center call, that's gonna be good. Tag titles on the line again, that's gonna be good. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing you gotta worry about a little bit is that you got a heavy reliance right now upon the Undisputed Era as your champions. Like, I mean, I get it, the best workers in the company, I think, right now. But at the same time, like, man, you gotta have other matches that interest me a little bit without, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, is besides those guys' matches, I think AEW's winning.
But you got Finn, you got Ciampa coming, you got stuff that's heating up. You feel it. It's extremely exciting. It's extremely exciting. I just thought I'd check in. First month, this is the first time we've been able really to talk about another company in the States that's really putting up a good fight with the WWE as a whole, really, you know what I mean? Which I think is extremely fun and extremely good for both sides. You don't got to be a AEW or a WWE guy to just be able to be like, I'm a wrestling fan, I enjoy both sides of it. It's okay. You can enjoy
if you could only watch one though, like if you couldn't watch the other, which one would you rather watch?
Right now, as it stands, I would rather watch AEW. Okay. Right now, I'd rather watch that just because I've seen so much of what they've already done in NXT, right? So I'm like, okay, I kind of know. Like, you kind of get a feel. AEW's like, okay, how are they going to build this? That's the intrigue. Now, if you ask me a year from now, could be a different answer.
Yeah, it could
be. You know what I mean? That's the best part about it is we're going to be talking a year from now and be like, remember when AEW was fun and exciting? Now we've got the exact same complaints that we have about them as WWE.
I mean, I already have the same complaints as I do with WWE.
Yeah, I know. You're hard to please.
I'm very hard to please.
Alright, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Next week, I don't even know. What are we talking next week?
Wait, I can think about it.
We can talk about it? Alright.
We're going to talk for a second?
We're going to think about it? Okay, well, that's going to be it for this week. Usually we talk about, Lions or some other fun stuff.
Some good stuff. We'll talk about, we can do a card preview for Full Gear.
Full Gear, that's good. I like it. Oh, and we can just say why Crown Jewel was such a disaster.
Ooh,
that's always fun.
A good one.
Right, good job. High five. All right, good. All right, that'll be it for this week's episode. For the Merc Zone, for the Missing Whale Man, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys as always next time.